Stand in the middle of Times Square today, and your senses are assaulted. Lights brighter than the sun, the roar of traffic, a sea of tourists, and skyscrapers that scrape the clouds. It is the most famous city on Earth, the capital of the world. But if you could strip away the concrete, silence the sirens, and rewind the clock just 400 years, you wouldn't find a city at all. You would find a wild, dense forest teeming with wolves, bears, and beavers. You would hear birdsong instead of car horns and see crystal-clear streams running where Broadway now stands. This is the incredible, violent, and unstoppable evolution of New York City, from forest to metropolis. The year is 1609. Before it was New York, it was Manhattan, the land of many hills. For thousands of years, this island was the home of the Lenape people. They fished in the harbor, which was then one of the richest oyster beds on the planet, and hunted in the deep forests of what is now Midtown. The path they used to walk north and south through the island was called the Wickwasgeck Trail. Today, we simply call it Broadway. But change arrived on the sails of a ship named the Half Moon, captained by Henry Hudson. He was looking for a route to Asia. Instead, he found the perfect natural harbor. By 1624, the Dutch West India Company established a trading post on the southern tip of the island. They didn't call it New York, they called it New Amsterdam. This wasn't a dignified colony like Boston, it was a company town run for profit. It was rowdy, diverse, and chaotic from day one. To protect the settlement from British attacks and Native American raids, the Dutch built a wooden fortification along the northern edge of the town, a simple 12-foot wooden wall. That wall was eventually torn down, but the street that ran alongside it kept the name. Today, Wall Street is the financial center of the world. And see this canal? This is the Heergracht, a waterway modeled after the canals of Amsterdam. Traders would row their goods right into the center of town. Today, this canal has been filled in and paved over. We know it now as Broad Street. The Dutch rule didn't last. In 1664, 4 British frigates arrived in the harbor, demanding surrender. The residents surrendered without a single shot being fired. The British renamed the city New York after the Duke of York. Under British rule, the city grew wealthy as a major port for flour, tobacco, and the slave trade. But by the 1770s, New York became the headquarters of the British military during the American Revolution. It was a city under occupation. In 1776, the Great Fire destroyed nearly a quarter of the city. For years, blackened ruins sat alongside occupied homes. New York was the last city George Washington liberated in 1783. As the new United States grew, so did its ambition. By the early 1800s, the population was exploding, and the chaotic tangle of streets in Lower Manhattan was a nightmare. In 1811, city planners made a radical decision that would define New York forever: the grid. They decided to bulldoze the hills, drain the swamps, and lay out a perfect grid of streets and avenues stretching north to unpopulated farmland. It was a master plan for a city that didn't exist yet. They were building for the future of millions. By the mid-19th century, New York was the fastest-growing city on Earth, but it was bursting at the seams. This is the Five Points neighborhood in the 1840s. Located near modern-day Chinatown, it was the world's most notorious slum. Gangs like the Dead Rabbits ruled the streets. The roads were knee-deep in mud and manure. Disease was rampant. While the wealthy built brownstones uptown, hundreds of thousands of immigrants fled famine in Europe, arriving at the docks with nothing. To save the city from suffocating, civic leaders set aside a massive rectangle of expensive land in the center of the island, Central Park. It was an engineering marvel. They moved millions of cartloads of earth to create a set of lungs for the city. In 1883, the impossible happened. the Brooklyn Bridge opened, connecting the twin cities of New York and Brooklyn. At the time, it was the longest suspension bridge in the world and paved the way for the unification of the 5 boroughs into Greater New York. The late 1800s brought the Gilded Age. New York became a city of extreme contrasts. On Fifth Avenue, families like the Vanderbilts and Astors built palaces that rivaled the royalty of Europe. Just a few miles south, on the Lower East Side, millions of immigrants crammed into airless tenements, the most densely populated place on the planet. But the city was about to change direction. It couldn't grow out anymore, so it started growing up. The 20th century arrived with steel frame construction. First came the Flatiron Building in 1902, looking like the prow of a ship. Then the Woolworth Building, the Cathedral of Commerce. The Roaring Twenties transformed New York into a modern wonder. Jazz clubs in Harlem, speakeasies in Midtown, and a stock market that seemed to only go up. The subway system allowed people to zip beneath the streets, connecting the boroughs in minutes. Even the Great Depression of the 1930s couldn't stop the builders. In the midst of economic collapse, New York built its 2 greatest icons, the Chrysler Building and the Empire State Building. Constructed in a record-breaking 410 days, the Empire State Building stood as the tallest building in the world for nearly 40 years. After World War II, New York became the undisputed capital of the world. But by the 1970s, the city was in crisis. If you visited New York in 1977, this is what you saw. Subway cars covered inside and out with graffiti. Times Square was a seedy district of crime. The Bronx was burning. The federal government famously told the city to drop dead. But New Yorkers are resilient. The city fought back, cleaning up the subways and rebuilding its economy. And on September 11, 2001, New York faced its greatest tragedy. The destruction of the Twin Towers broke the city's heart, but it revealed its soul. The world watched as New Yorkers came together to rebuild. Today, the One World Trade Center stands as a sentinel over Lower Manhattan. From a Dutch trading post of 270 people to a global metropolis of 8 million, from muddy paths to the canyons of Wall Street, New York City is a testament to human ambition. It is the city that never sleeps because it is always dreaming of what comes next. That completes the evolution of New York City from forest to metropolis. Which era of New York would you have liked to visit? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more.